Victoria in Australia, and today I'm going to be using our new little sneak peek of our framed floret stamps, and this is absolutely beautiful. I'm actually going to be stamping out some stamps this time, and I'm going to use some blends. So without further ado, let's come down to my little workbench here, and I have got stuff everywhere. Okay, so I've got my blends that I'm going to be using, which is the Real Red Dark and the Real Red Light, and I'm also using the dark olive green, the old olive green. I'm going to use the Memento on our stamp, so I'm going to come across and ink this up. And I can see Christmas in this, but I can also see if you did it in other colours, it would be like you could use it for birthdays or whatever. But I'm going to actually make this one as a Christmas today. So come down and stamp onto our cardstock. Now today I'm using just the normal cardstock, and I'm just going to colour this in. So I'm going to do all the leaves first. Oh, had a little bit of alcohol jump out at me. So I'm just going to come through and do the leaves. And if you haven't tried our blends before, they are just amazing to use. They come in a set of two, a dark and a light, but you can get so many more colours out of them by just adding more, applying more coats to each petal or leaf that you're working with. So you can let it dry and then add more. Okay, so you can get lots out of your blends. I love using the blends, but I've just chosen three colours today. One just being a dark and the other being a light and a dark, just so that you can sort of see that if you haven't got a lot of blends, that you can still create with just a few colours. Okay, so because Christmas is coming up, I have chosen Christmas colours because most people are getting into making their Christmas cards now. Now this suite that or collection that I'm actually using as a sneak peek, it's not available until the 1st of November 2022 for customers, but demonstrators, as one of our perks, we get to order products a little bit earlier to make up some samples and to share some sneak peeks with you for our upcoming catalogue that will be in January. So if you want to get your hands on these products before November, then you can join my team and you can add these to your starter kit, which is really beautiful. Now, when you join Stampin'Up, there's people ask me, I get asked quite often, what would you put in your starter kit? And really that will depend on the level of you, okay, the level of where you are at stamping, because some people can be a customer for maybe 2 or 3 years before they even decide to join, so they have got a lot of products. And that's the one thing that I love about Stampin' Up, about choosing your own products, is that you can do that and you might already have a lot of products on hand. So that's a really good way to be able to choose your products. Now I'm just using the light, and I'm just going to go over all the flowers in the light just to start off with. And I'm using the fine pen end. You have a fine tip end and a pen end, and you will see a little line here and a thicker line here, so you know that's the thicker end. They do have great grips on the handles or on the caps so that you can put them on and off. It is really good to have them straight when you're clicking them in and out, and make sure that they click and they click off when you're putting them on, so that you know that they're airtight so the alcohol doesn't dry out. They do need to be stored horizontal. Okay, so all your pens need to be stored this way, horizontal, not vertical. Now, I have seen a lot of people put these in cups, and I sort of say, oh, that's not a really good idea, because this end's going to dry out. This end will stay wet, but this end will dry out. So horizontal is how you want to store these. Now, we have some great storage containers for your inks and for your markers and your blends. So have a look through the catalogue at them, because you can actually do them up in families, like your soft subtles, your rich regals, your earthy colours or your neutrals, and your brights. And that's a really good way of doing it. Okay, so that's something that I would think about if you've only got a small area, is to invest in those storage. I must show them one day. I don't show them very often, but I must show and share, because they are amazing. Okay, so getting back to, if you want to become a demonstrator, that will, like I said, depend on where you are at. If you're a very beginner, never stamped before, then I would probably suggest like your paper trimmer and a stamp set and some inks and some sort of colouring tool to start off with. If you're more of a hobby and a, you know, casual stamper, then I would sort of ask you what you had in the way of craft supplies, because some people would have already a big shot or a die cutting machine of some sort. So that's something that you need to know. If you're an avid crafter, someone who's been doing it for quite some time, and then all of a sudden all your kids are growing up and you've decided that you want to do it as a little bit of hobby thing, so that you can sort of, well, I call it a smart shopper, to be honest, to get your 20% off, and also to go to events with people that are like-minded, you know, like crafty people that love to stamp. And we have conventions and backstage and things like that that you can join into. Over the last 3 years, we've been doing a lot online because of COVID, and that's what made me change my business over to online as well. So I'm just going to do the little green bits in here on this one. Okay, so I'm just going to use the pen side again, and I'm just going to come out from the center and just highlight some of this a little bit darker. Okay, you don't have to do all of it, just a little bit of it, and just to highlight it up. You know, you can come right up into one section if you want to, but you don't have to come all the way up if you don't want to. Just blend and highlight. It just brings the colour out a little bit more when you just come in a little bit with the dark. Okay, so like I said, you don't have to do the whole flower. I'll hold this up in a minute so that you can sort of see how I've done this. Okay, and this one. So don't forget to leave a comment and tell me where you're from. I love to know where people are coming from, because I've been getting a lot of people coming onto my Facebook page from Texas and America and Canada, New Zealand, all these crafting sisters all around the globe, and I love it. I just love to share, and I love to make great friendships. So you can sort of see how we've blended that in now. Okay, it's really beautiful. Okay, now we're going to use the die to run around this and cut it out. And I've already quickly done that. Did you see that magic? Yes. Okay, so we're going to start off with our card base. And this is 21 centimeters by 14.5. Now, you can do 14.9 if you want to, but I like to do just 14.5 because I like to keep it too simple for my customers so that when they're making it, they don't have to think about the 0.9 or the point whatever. I like to keep it more to that simple side. So this is real red cardstock. This is what I love about the coordination of our markers, our inks, and our paper. All coordinates really well together. Now I'm going to be using a Tombow multi-liquid glue, and this has two ends to it. Okay, so I love that you can use the fine end or you can use the thicker end. It's really up to you. So a lot of people don't even realize that there's a broad tip down the bottom and a pen tip up the top. They go, oh, I didn't know that. So I like to point that out because, yeah, unless you really do get pointed out and you do know a little bit about it, it's all right if you've been crafting a long time, but if you knew, you wouldn't know that, okay? So just going to place this with a bit of a border all the way around, which is really nice. Then we're going to come in with the white. Now with the white, you could actually, if you wanted to, you could emboss this, but I'm not going to today. I'm just going to stamp our word out on this today. And I've got wishing for a beautiful, no, that one's the birthday one. I'm going to use a Christmas one. And I have yourself a merry little Christmas is the one that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to go with, I think I might go with the Evening Evergreen because it's just a little bit darker, but it's not black. It's a little bit darker green, but it's not a black. Now, don't forget when you put your stamp into your ink pad, not to rock it. If you rock it, you'll get ink around your edge. And if your inks are really full, you don't want to press down hard. And a lot of people go, ugh, like that. You don't need to. You just need to tap, tap, tap. Okay, so you just need to tap onto the top of your ink pad and just cover the top surface of your writing, okay? So you don't need to have it right around and you don't want to press it very hard. Now I'm going to line my paper up, and I like to use my solid lines as a bit of a guide for myself, and I'm going to come in and press that down. So we've got have yourself a merry little Christmas, and then I'm going to use the beautiful gold banner here that I cut out, or the oval that I cut out earlier today. So I'm going to bring that in on this. Now if you feel like this is too far down, you can always turn it over and use the other side of your cardstock because you've always got two sides to a piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to share that with you as well. You know, you don't have to throw that whole piece away. You can just come up and you can bring this up a little bit higher, okay, because you might want it up a little bit higher. Okay, so now you can have this sort of going around like this. And I think we wanted it up that high because we want to bring this in down here. Okay, so you could even have it up just a fraction bit more. Okay, then you can use your liquid glue or you can use your dimensions. You can even make this into a shaker if you wanted to. Okay, but I'm just going to keep it simple today. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue around, and I don't want to use too much. I'm going to line this up. And then we're going to come in with some dimensions on this part here. Now you might want to add some extra little bits, which we will add in just a minute. I've just cut out the main basic bits. If you want to have your cuppa, make sure you have your cuppa. Sorry, I just needed to have a wet the whistle. So I'm going to keep that there. I'm going to come in with dimensions on this. Now I'm just going to put a couple of dimensions on here to start off with, because if you want to poke things in and around, you really do want to leave some space to do that. Okay, so we're going to have this coming in, I think about there, which would be really nice. Okay, and then we can come in with some of the smaller pieces. Now I'm going to grab my little mini die machine. Okay, so this is our little mini. This is so gorgeous. It really is. It's, I think, around $100, this little machine. It is really so cute. Ever so cute. And you need your platform number 1. And you need number 2. Then you're going to need your cardstock. And I want to come in with a bit of... I'm just looking for what colour I want. I think I need to use a little bit of green, or you could use a little bit of gold if you wanted to on this. I'm just looking to see what I've got in front of me here on the table. I have got some darker green here, which is the same colour as the... And I have got some paler green, but I haven't got the old olive here. But I'm just going to grab this and grab the dies, because you've got some nice little pieces that you can sort of bring out on this as well. So I would probably, you've got lots of little bits on here. I'm just going to have a little look. I'd probably come out with like this little leafy one to come in underneath. And I probably would really like to do it on gold, but I'm just going to do one here on the green to give you an idea. I might even just do white, but I'll just do this one first, and you just wind it through. And it just cuts it away. It's just like a little leaf. And that can be quite nice to bring in some extra around here. But I think I like to have the gold. So I'm going to have a little look on my table here. Yeah, so I've got some gold down here, so I'm going to use that. So with the gold, you just need to trim a strip. You don't want to try to put the whole lot in. You just want to trim a little bit off, because it's only a little piece that we're using. And we want to come in with this little piece. And I think we'll probably, you know, might cut out a couple of them and just see how we go. It does make a big difference when you add sometimes just that little bit of extra to it. So we've got one here, so we'll leave that there for a minute. Pop this one through again. Don't you just love this little mini cut and die machine? It is so light, like you can pick it up with your little finger. My granddaughter, she's 2, she loves this. She sits there and she loves to cut things through. It's so easy to use. So I think people and children, it's a great one for children. So great one for Christmas gift if you've got a crafty child. Would be a fantastic little gift for her or him, because even the guys love to do card making, and you get all the little pieces with it as well. Okay, so I think we've got 3 of them, and I think that'll be enough for the moment. It just gives us that extra little bit of shape here. I'm just going to put my die back in here to start off with. Okay, so we'll bring this back over here, and just by bringing out some of these extra little pieces of gold up in through here, see how it sort of can just break away it all being too plain. Okay, so you can sort of come in and you can add a little bit of gold texture coming down through it too. You can even use like a grid, you know, and you got some of the things that we have is like a little grid, so you can even use like some of that. So, but look, honestly, I think it's really your choice. Okay, if you want to add something extra into here, you can definitely do that. You know, sometimes you just need one little piece will be quite enough to bring in on a spot where you have a little bit of a gap. Okay, so one little piece is quite enough. Now you might want to come back through your stamp set, because you have other flowers in here too, so you might want to stamp out some more little flowers and bring a little flower in there. Or you might want to bring in these are the little leaves that die goes around, so you might want to bring in just the green leaves and have them coming out as well. So I'm just giving you some ideas, but like I said, we're keeping this one pretty plain today, because, you know, we're working towards that new stamper today, so we're just going to keep this one very, very plain. So I'm going to bring this on. Remember, we stamped on both sides of this, so that's okay. We're allowed to do that. So, sorry, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. Now, I'm just going to bling it up a little bit. So I'm just going to add some of these beautiful iridescent little rhinestones in. And I'm just going to add them into the flowers. Absolutely beautiful, without doing overly too much. You can even do it in these ones here, because stuck to my finger, because they're iridescent, and they just really give a nice little bit of a bling. Okay, I probably would have liked my Christmas down just a little bit, but that's okay. We can actually just put a little bit of bling in there if we wanted to as well. So you've got 3 different sizes here, so you sort of could come up with a bigger one in here, and then come down with the next one, and then a small one, and that sort of will fill that little bit of a gap in that area as well. Like, you know, you can add a little bit of bling into that area as well. So, or you could even do a straight line if you wanted to. You could do a big one, medium one, and then a small one in the middle. So just depends on how you want to do it. So I'm going to bring this up. Oh no, we're not. We haven't finished yet. We need to put the inside in. Okay, so let's do that first. Then we'll come up and say hello. Getting a bit impatient, Teresa. So bring this, line it up, make sure it's nice and straight. And then our white one that you can actually write onto as well. Or you can stamp another sentiment on the inside if you want to. That's entirely up to you. And you can even decorate up your envelopes as well if you want to. So I love this because it is a nice little easy one for a beginner. And not too hard. It's got a little bit of bling on there. Very lovely on the flowers, and only using 3 blenders. Well, thank you for joining me today. God bless you all, and I hope to see you at the next free class. Bye for now.